The best deeds on the 8th day of Ramadan. Ramadan is the month of mercy and forgiveness, and every day is a new opportunity to get closer to Allah through good deeds. As the 8th day begins, a Muslim must be keen to increase his efforts in worship and obedience, and not to slacken in order to receive the greatest rewards. The days pass quickly, and whoever seizes them with goodness will be among the winners. Here are the best deeds that you can do on this blessed day. 1. Renewing the intention and sincerity in work. Every good deed in Ramadan must be done purely for the sake of Allah. The Prophet said, actions are only by intentions, and each person will have but what he intended, agreed upon. Therefore, before starting any act of worship, whether it is fasting, praying, or reading the Qur'an, one should renew the intention and seek reward from Allah. 2. Performing the Fajr prayer on time. Praying Fajr on time is one of the deeds that brings blessings to the day, and the Prophet promised that whoever prays Fajr will be protected by Allah. He said, whoever prays Fajr will be under the protection of Allah, narrated by Muslim. It is recommended after the prayer to sit and remember Allah until sunrise and pray the 2 units of Duha prayer, as it brings great reward. 3. Reciting the Holy Quran and contemplating its meanings. The Quran is the light that illuminates our hearts in Ramadan, and it was revealed in this holy month. Allah Almighty said, the month of Ramadan in which was revealed the Quran, Al-Baqarah, 185. The Muslim should continue to recite it and be keen to contemplate its meanings and apply its teachings. 4. Increase remembrance and seeking forgiveness. Remembrance of Allah fills the heart with tranquility and brings mercy and forgiveness. Among the recommended supplications on this day are Glory be to Allah and His praise, Glory be to Allah the Almighty, there is no God but Allah alone, He has no partner, His is the kingdom and His is the praise, and He is over all things omnipotent. O Allah, You are the pardoner and You love to pardon, so pardon me. Repentance also brings provision and opens the doors of goodness, as the Prophet said, whoever persists in seeking forgiveness, Allah will make for him a way out of every difficulty, and relief from every worry, and will provide for him from where he does not expect, narrated by Abu Daud. 5. Charity and feeding the poor. Charity in Ramadan doubles the reward, and feeding the fasting is one of the deeds that will admit the servant into paradise. The Prophet said, whoever feeds a fasting person will have a reward like his, without that detracting from the fasting person's reward in the slightest, narrated by Al-Tirmidhi. A Muslim can provide iftar meals to the poor or donate money to charitable organizations. 6. Supplication before iftar. Supplication is answered at iftar, so a Muslim should take advantage of these moments to supplicate for himself, his family, and the Muslim Ummah. The Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, a fasting person has a supplication at the time of breaking his fast that will not be rejected, narrated by Ibn Majah. 7. Taraweeh prayer and night prayer. Taraweeh prayer is one of the confirmed sunnahs of Ramadan, and continuing to do so forgives sins. The Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, whoever prays during Ramadan out of faith and in the hope of reward, his previous sins will be forgiven, narrated by Al-Bukhari and Muslim. It is preferable for a Muslim to pray with the Imam so that he will receive the reward of praying a full night. 8. Maintaining family ties and communicating with relatives. Maintaining family ties is one of the deeds that Allah loves and increases blessings in life and livelihood. The Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, whoever loves for his provision to be expanded and his lifespan to be extended, let him maintain family ties, narrated by Al-Bukhari. On this day, one can communicate with family and relatives, whether by visiting or calling. 9. Having good manners. Fasting is not only about abstaining from food and drink, but it also includes self-control and having good manners. The Prophet, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, said, if one of you is fasting, he should neither utter obscene words nor raise his voice, and if someone insults him or fights with him, he should say, I am fasting, agreed upon. 10. Seclusion and devoting oneself to worship if possible, spending time in the mosque to worship, meditate, and draw closer to Allah, even for a short period, is one of the recommended actions in Ramadan, especially in the last 10 days. Conclusion. The 8th day of Ramadan is a great opportunity to continue to do good deeds and strengthen one's connection with Allah. Through prayer, remembrance, reciting the Qur'an, giving charity, and maintaining family ties, a Muslim can invest this blessed day in ways that will bring him reward and recompense. Let us all strive to make the most of every moment in Ramadan in a way that pleases Allah, and we ask Him for acceptance and forgiveness.